Welcome to episode 121 of Star Wars and Scotch. I did it. I worked a cold open in again. I'm very proud of myself. Tim didn't even see it coming. Did you, Timbo Slice?
God, I hate that. Don't. It doesn't feel right.
I can't wait to go in your chat today and be like, hey, make sure you all listen to the episode.
But that's the weird thing though, is that people in chat call me Timbo Slice, and I'm totally fine with it. The bot will come on like 200 stars from John. Hey there, Timbo Slice. And I'm like, hey man, what's up? It's all good. You know, like that's fine. But when you say it, it's weird. I don't like it.
Now I have to test giving you stars and doing it.
See, but like I would probably be fine with it. It's hearing you say it like nails on a chalkboard for me.
Not the AI that reads it to you?
Yeah, that's fine. Or even me saying it, totally fine. But like if Amy said Timbo Slice, I'd probably spray her with water. No, bad.
You're in dog parenting mode.
Yeah, we got a puppy.
Why are you in dog parenting mode, Tim?
He's so cute.
He's so cute. I hung out with him on Sunday. So now Lando has joined our little Star Wars and Scotch family. We have Finn. It lives at my house. Lando lives at Tim's house. But he's absolutely adorable. He's one of the sweetest dogs I've ever met.
Yeah, he's pretty cool.
It's funny because I had my kids over at Tim's house, and none of the kids cared about the dog. The adults were way more into hanging out with the dog.
Yeah.
And the dog will play with. If you have a pulse, the dog wants to be your friend. So he was just running around and trying to play with them. But my daughter, by the end, was like, "No more. I'm done. He's too big." And then when Kyler comes to my house, he's like, "Get that Finn away from me. Get him away. I'm not into this."
He just jumps on me.
So. But no, Lando's cute. If you haven't seen Lando, make sure you go over to Tim's Instagram.
He's all over the place.
Or Twitter. Yeah, Darkness429 and check out Lando. He is absolutely adorable, and he's so cute, so sweet. But yeah, welcome to Star Wars and Scotch episode 121. We got a lot to talk about today. But before we do, let's jump into this delicious King's Coast coffee that I have here. What do you have today, by the way?
I finished mine.
What was it?
This is my problem, is I'll make myself like really nice drinks. It was just like a little like ice latte. And I drink them so fast.
It's
with Bowbreak. It's Bowbreaker. Yeah. I like Bowbreaker a lot. It's just have some really nice, it's really just, they're fun notes. Like they're just very, very just, I don't know how to explain it. It's just, they're there. Like sometimes you have coffee and you just don't taste the notes. You're just like, yeah, I'm drinking coffee. And like sometimes you just have espresso and you're just like, yeah, I'm just having espresso. But like our Bowbreaker is really, really good. So I put that in with a little bit of almond milk, a splash of sugar-free syrup, and bing, bang, boom.
What are you drinking? Enjoying the Highland Sumatra today.
Oh, that's a good one.
Just black. Very, very sippable and delicious. So, and if you missed it, so again, if you're not part of the Kings Club, you probably didn't know this was coming, but Jamaica Blue Mountain went on sale on Friday, and it is gone. It was gone very quick. So
typical.
And now Wayne is waiting for the beans to arrive through the snowstorms and things that they have going on in the region. So he keeps texting me and getting angry because it hasn't arrived and it was supposed to come. So if your order's a little delayed, blame Mother Nature because of that. But as soon as he gets all the beans in, they were supposed to ship last Thursday. So they ship on Thursday and Monday. On Thursday and Monday. They're supposed to ship last Thursday for regular coffee, not even Jamaica. Beans didn't come. Then they were. I got on the phone with them on Monday. They were supposed to ship again. Beans didn't come. So Wayne's like freaking out because he's gonna have to do like a triple shipping day today and tomorrow.
That sounds like hell.
Yep. Good thing we're in sunny Florida promoting the product and not packing the bags. Although I know many of you believe that Tim packs his own roast.
I actually don't work in the roastery as much as you guys want that to happen. It's not true.
Blesses the beans with his saliva. I'm sorry, that's not how it works. Tim is.
We don't do that. Nope.
I still think we need to make the video of you waking up at like 3:30, flying to New York, roasting and packing the beans, and then flying back home.
Yeah,
I do this once a week.
We can make that happen. I do it.
We should. You're due for a trip back up there anyway. So, kingscoastcoffee.com. Make sure you're joining that Kings Club because March is upon us, and who knows? Maybe new goodies will come out in March. Wink, wink. Also, make sure if you're in Long Island area, you stop by the cafe. and get some of our delicious drinks that we have. I think spring menu comes out next month, so it's probably still winter menu on the cafe menu. GCX is upon us. If you are a premier ticket holder, you got the email to go book your hotel block at Rosen. If you're not, you got to wait till next week. You can still get the link if you purchase premier tickets now, and reserve your hotel room. When I say reserve your hotel room, what I mean is Rosen Shingle Creek, where we hold the event, is also the resort. So it's all in one place, meaning you don't have to go outside unless you want to go in a pool or you want to go golfing or you want to go to Disney. You can walk straight from your room in beautiful air conditioning to the show floor and enjoy the show. We're actually back on the side we were in 2019. I did a site walk last week. I am more excited than I've been since pre-COVID for this event. Because I'm not going to lie to you, I have not been excited to produce this event during COVID. But I'm more excited than I've been since 2019. It feels like it's back way more so than last year. It feels like it's back. We plotted everything out, and we're very excited. So gcxevent.com/tickets. If you get your Premier Pass, you'll get an email following that. It gives you the link to get your hotel room. If you're not a Premier Pass holder or you want to book your hotel room before you buy your passes, totally fine too. You can do so starting next week. I'm not sure what day. I think it's Tuesday. But you can do so starting next week. gcxevent.com/tickets. We even plotted, Tim, where we're going to put the Lab 77/merch booth.
Nice. Exciting.
Yeah, we're going with the exit through the gift shop, Banksy style.
Although crap.
It's more enter and exit through the gift shop, Banksy style.
I like it.
gcxevent.com. All right. Let's talk about Bad Batch first.
Oh, crap.
I liked this episode a lot.
Good, because I didn't watch it.
You didn't watch it?
No, because, Kevin, I was... this morning's been hell. This morning's been absolutely hell.
You want to save it to next week?
No. I want to talk about it because I want to hear if it was a filler or not.
It is a filler episode with lore in it, but they harkened back to so many important things that have happened. So I'll give you this. First of all, it's kind of horror-ish at the beginning. They went the route. Literally, I would say there were shots and frames from Alien.
So sick.
We go back to what is that place called? I just pulled it up too. Here it is.
This episode's called Metamorphosis.
So we go back to the cloning facility. It's a place called Tantus. I looked it up. It is not the cloning facility we thought it was. So this is new. We meet a new character whose name is Dr. Royce Hemlock. He is very sinister. He's got that evil villain thing about him. So I guess he's our new... Rampart's gone. This is our new guy. So he has Nalase from Camino imprisoned in Tantus, and he's basically talking to her about why won't you go along with this? Why we can change the galaxy. You know, you can help the Empire. That's why we kept you alive and kept your technology. She's refusing to do it. So he tells them he wants the senator, you know, the one they have imprisoned on Coruscant from Camino.
Yeah.
There. Fast forward, they lose this ship. Something goes wrong. It's very alien-esque where you don't see it at first. It's hiding in the ceiling. It's killing. Also, it was commandos. It was not regular troopers. They were all commandos in this episode.
Ooh.
Tell by the visors. Sid gets on the holo with the team, and she's like, you know, like, and they're arguing with her, and she's like, I'll give you a special rate for this mission since I left you stranded, 30%. And they just stand there. All right, 35. They get up to 50%. And then they go because she wants the salvage from the ship that she got tipped off on.
Yeah.
They go in the ship, straight up alien. They find the planet where it crashed. They like straight up alien. They get in there. It's moving around like that. Tech, there's even a shot. Do you remember in Alien when I forget who it is, which one has the visor, and they're looking around and it's scanning? It's like
you can watch it like crawling through the stuff.
You can see it if you look really close, but like
I think it's that sounds like I think that's an Aliens.
Aliens, I think so too. And you like the flashlight and everything's dark. They literally did that with Tech's visor twice.
That's so sick.
So I was very much like, okay. And if you don't know me, Alien and Aliens are two of my. I would say those are my two favorite horror movies next to Jaws. And some people might argue they're not horror, but I don't really give a damn. So those are my three favorite horror movies. So I was really excited by this. I'm going to give away the plot. Are you okay with that?
Yeah, go for it. I'm going to watch it. I'm going to watch it after stream today.
They encounter this beast, and it's it is blaster proof. They can't do anything to it, which is how it killed everyone in the ship. At one point, you know, Tech surmises that the reason there's no one left is because it ate everyone on the ship, and Omega has a bit of a panic attack. Because you know how Tech says everything matter of fact.
Yeah, he's very literal.
Yeah. So they end up fighting it. Tech is on the bridge trying to figure out what happened to the ship, so he's separated from them. The beast is running around. All of a sudden, the beast gets caught in this like energy beam, but it's feeding on the energy.
Oh, we've seen
Almost
that before.
Eating it, like
Yeah.
And then when we see it again, it's actually gotten bigger and it has like a tail fin and stuff now. So the energy
like
is
it's evolved.
actually feeding it. And Wrecker's like, does that thing look different than it did 5 minutes ago when we saw it? Like that. And so they get it cornered. It's feeding on the energy. Tech decides to shoot the energy conduit to see if it'll blow up. All it does is blow a hole in the ship and the thing escapes and it starts heading to the village that's on the planet. So they feel like, okay, we let it out. We have to contain it. Tech goes back to the bridge with Omega to see if he can get the files on the creature. Omega's like, I'm familiar with Kaminoan technology. I can help you. So Wrecker and Hunter go after it. It's making its way to the energy like power conduit outside the city.
This feels like a show I've seen before.
It's very
this all feels very familiar.
But here's the catch. It gets there. At this point, it finds the energy conduit and it jumps on top of it and it starts feeding off of it. They're in the Marauder trying to track it and shoot it and see what they can do. As it's feeding on the energy, all of a sudden 3 Imperial ships come out of hyperspace, and then they start sending TIE fighters and stuff down to the surface of the planet.
Shit.
So they know it's loose. They're, and in the beginning of the episode, they say to the doctor, like, we have a missing ship, and he's like, go find it. So they're coming down. Tech gets the information, and as he's saying that, it's evolving again. And I go, man, I wonder if this is the origins of the Zillo Beast from Clone Wars. Not even 10 seconds later, Tech goes, Hunter, this is the same beast that attacked Coruscant during the Clone Wars. And I'm like, it's the Zillo Beast.
Yeah.
So what was happening was the Emperor is trying to, remember how obsessed
That's why this feels so familiar.
The Emperor is trying to clone Zillo Beasts because remember how obsessed he was?
Well, he was obsessed with their armor.
Exactly. So he's trying to clone them so he can use their armor. They mentioned this in the episode to mass produce it and I guess give it to troopers and whatnot. But the experiment failed again. So
holy shit, that's so cool.
So there's a really key point at the end of the episode too.
Yeah, I wouldn't call this one a filler episode.
It was filler because they're off on a mission that didn't really matter, but it plays heavily into the plot of Star Wars.
It pushes the overall Star Wars story ahead.
Right. So then the Marauders dogfighting with some of the Imperial ships. They weren't TIE fighters, but there were TIE fighters when they flew down. And Tech and Omega get all the data they need from the ship. So they call for the pickup. Hunter's like, I'll do my best. The other Imperial ship, one of the larger ones, goes down by the Zillo Beast. All the villagers now are out looking at the Zillo Beast. So this thing goes over the Zillo Beast and starts zapping it with this one blaster laser thing that actually is incapacitating it, but it takes multiple hits. It finally goes down. And then like UFO style, this thing opens up and comes down, grabs it and picks it up into the ship. And Wrecker's like, they're not trying to kill it. They're trying to capture it. And then all of a sudden, and this is the most Empire part of it, the poor people that lived in the village, dropship comes in, commandos on the ground, rounding all the people up, putting them in the ship. They get back on the Marauder. And then we go back. Oh, before that, they get back on the Marauder. Tech is looking at all the information. He goes, and he's like, so this is the Zillo Beast. It's the same thing. He goes, yes, they were trying to clone them so they can gather the technology that you like for the armor. And he goes, the Emperor put this in before he became Emperor of the Empire when he was still just Chancellor of the Republic. So the cloning stuff started before he took over as Emperor back in Clone Wars.
We kind of knew that.
We did. We had an inkling, but now it's confirmed that like he was actually already actively involved in this from Clone Wars.
Oh,
they go back to the facility on Tantus. and Hemlock meets with the former Prime Minister of Kamino, which he gives him a slight. He goes, "Prime Minister, excuse me, sorry, former Prime Minister." I was like, "Oh, you Empire
shit.
So
Yikes.
he's like, your scientist is being very cooperative. He goes, let's talk inside. They did show a shot of the Zillo Beast in the ship. It's in this big container. It's like under anesthesia of some sort because it's knocked out, and they're holding it. So basically, they're confirming that the Empire, that facility is for cloning. So that might be the facility where Luke's hand is from the comics, but I couldn't find anything on it when I finally got the name of it. I didn't find anything on it. So it could be. I'm not saying it's not.
Yeah.
But they're definitely doing cloning projects there, and that Zillo Beast program definitely was not
so
over.
sick.
It's still going.
That's so cool.
So yeah,
because in Clone Wars they gassed it, they killed it. If I remember correctly,
I think they had to, and no, because remember the Emperor has it at the end. Did they kill the Zillo Beast?
I thought they killed it at the end. Then he was like, "Do your research." Didn't they have to gas it at the very end?
In the end, the Jedi and Republic army were left with no other choice but to kill a Zillo Beast using a powerful toxin. Yes, now I remember that was the only way.
So they gas it because the thing they were calming it down, like everything was cool, and then something happens where like you realize it was the Chancellor who ended up just like making all this bad shit happen, so that they had to end up killing it. Like that's like how it felt that entire episode. Is like you knew that it was gonna die because the Chancellor wanted it dead. And so now this makes way more sense because you knew that he was already interested in the research, and at the very end he like tells the doctors like learn everything you can about this thing.
Right.
So knowing that he's fucking cloning it is even crazier, because that means that whatever they found, there wasn't enough to harvest off of just one, so they needed to continue making more.
Right.
Which is really interesting. So what I really want to know is like, is it just the skin that they figured out that they could turn into like material for armor, or is it more than that? Now I'm really interested. Ooh, that's so cool.
They didn't say it, but the doctor was like, "How many people saw the beast did anyone from the village see the beast?" And the commando said, "Yes, many people." So I have a feeling they're going to kill all those people now because they saw it and it's supposed to be gone, and to keep everything hush hush. So yeah, it was a good episode of Bad Batch.
I just don't know why it's so secretive. Now I want to know more.
Yeah.
Like what makes a Zillo Beast so, I mean, like, it's an ancient creature. Like it's like, and it's neat, and it like feeds off of power. So like, do you use it as a weapon? Like, do you unleash it on like a planet and just let it just wreak havoc?
It seems like he just wants the skin to make armor with. But
think so?
Maybe seeing it in action again. I don't know.
I don't know. We still like Bad Batch for me always ends up leaving me with more questions than it does answers. Like we still have no idea what the Brontosaurus of Death was. The thing from Horizon Zero Dawn that we think is potentially a like an ancient artifact from the Zepho. Mm-hmm. Like, and a lot of people are leaning towards that. They're like, that's Zepho technology. Like it looks so close to like what we saw in Jedi Fallen Order. But like that was it. Like we literally just saw the thing and like that was it. So like when are we gonna get back to that? This whole Zillo Beast thing, like that was one episode in Clone Wars. And now we've got one episode in Bad Batch. Like, are we gonna get like we're gonna get a closed loop there? Are they gonna finish that story off, or is that another thing where they're just gonna let it just live on for who knows when? For a rainy day.
Around the Galaxy did a side-by-side comparison of the Zepho writings from Jedi Fallen Order and the ones in the episode, and they were almost identical.
Yeah, a lot of the architecture just looks very Zepho too. There's no like hard edges. Zephos, everything's rounded off.
What's interesting to me is they've confirmed that the Rakata exists too from Kotor, and they were the original forerunners in Old Republic. So I'm very interested to see how they blend the two stories. Now, granted, one could be like the forerunner of tech, the other could be the forerunners of the Force, because we've heard multiple Force origin stories across Legends.
Yeah.
So there's nothing solidified there. But the Rakatans were very tech heavy. So I don't know. It'd be very interesting to see how they marry the two into one, because both exist in canon. So
we've got a lot, I mean, like between like the Zepho, like that's a whole new race that they introduced. We've barely scratched the surface when it comes to the Grisk. So like those are like 2 new races that have been introduced very recently in Star Wars lore, and we don't know anything about them.
And people
Other
have
like
married the idea that the Grisk and the Yuzong Vong are not the same thing and can coexist.
they're
in the Outer
different,
Rim.
yeah. But like, well, like, yeah, because like the Grisk is more like out in the uncharted space, and the Yuzong Vong are more in like in that galactic area, right?
Yuzong Vong are out in uncharted space too. What they do is they invade galaxies and like suck them of
Well,
all their
that's
resources.
what the
and then move
Grisk
on.
does.
Yep.
That's what the Grisk do. So like, that's very interesting. So then you have 2 powerhouses that could then end up fighting each other.
They confirmed that, but the other idea is that maybe the Chiss are holding both at bay right now out there.
Ooh.
Like that's why they haven't attacked the core galaxy, because the Chiss are actually the ones fighting both of them on multiple fronts.
Holy shit, that would be so sick.
Because the Chiss lore has completely changed. Because the Chiss, we're not introduced to the Chiss now until this era. In the old one, the Chiss were part of the Empire in the Old Republic. Now, I did read something where someone also got that idea that once the Empire fell in the Old Republic, the Chiss went back out to uncharted space and, you know, reestablished their civilization on their own without the help of the Empire. And now we're being reintroduced to them. And it makes sense because the Old Republic is thousands of years before all of this. So it's very credible that, you know, given how many alien races there are, like,
but that sounds like the Chiss don't get integrated until after the New Republic.
They don't, because of, we know that that's
they're just but like, so I don't think they ever get integrated now because they're their own thing. They're their own government. They operate. They're a huge body in the chaos.
Right.
So like for them to be integrated within this galaxy, that makes no sense. But like the idea of them being the defense force. Like they are the defense for the for that galaxy because they're holding everything back in the chaos. That's so cool.
There's so many references that he makes to the things that are out beyond the chaos.
Oh yeah, no, there's definitely a whole nother. There's something else past that because the chaos is kind of like this buffer. It feels like it's a buffer zone.
Yep. So it who knows. But there's obviously more
hopefully
coming.
Ahsoka will start to answer some of those questions.
I feel like Ahsoka is going to be a glue for a lot of the ideas that are floating out in lack of a better term.
Well, there's so much. There's so much between episode 6 and 7 that there's so many questions that you can answer. And yeah, there's 20 years and there's so much material that has been created for this time period. It's nuts, absolutely insane right now. So it's gonna be overwhelming. I think we're gonna start getting our storylines confused.
I mean, we already get our storylines confused.
But I did like. Can we just like quickly jump into Mando real quick and since we're talking about like animated stuff,
tease and then we'll take a break.
Did you like the space whales?
The Purgle?
It was so sick. I love that we didn't actually get to see them. We just saw shadows. It was so good because. You know what that means, Kevin? That means Ezra and Thrawn. That's what that means. I got so excited when I saw those.
Yeah, they definitely nodded to Rebels like, here it comes. You ready?
Yep.
I also wanted to ask you about that, and we'll go to break right after this. Was Grogu the only one able to see them?
No, I think Mando would have been able to see them too. Like they travel in their own hyperspace lanes. They're able to just naturally navigate those lanes. So I think Mando would have seen him too. I think because of Grogu and just like the way that he was probably talking to him.
Okay.
He was probably communicating with him.
All right.
At least that was the moment because like he was like doing his like they were looking at each other and then he went and cuddled with Mando. So
yeah, that was cute too.
He was so cute.
We're gonna talk about Mandalorian season 3 kickoff on the other side of this break. Listen to my sexy voice try and sell you a few things, and we'll be back in a minute.
We're back with coffee and Kevin. More coffee. Yeah, it's one of those days where I just need more caffeine. Well, it was leg day today, so like I'm kind of just like struggling.
I did chest last night. I gotta do legs tonight.
I'm hurting.
Leg day.
I love leg day. I love leg day because it's just like seeing like the little increments as you just increase. You know, it might just be like 5 pounds every week, but still, like I'm proud. I'm excited because I'm getting close to 400 pounds. So like for me, like that's a goal. Like that's like an achievement for me. So like I like it.
I know. I'm just trying not to be fat. So that's it. So far, it's working.
Good for you.
Thanks. And then this is where Tim usually goes, that's more based on your diet, not your workout, just so you know.
No, I just say that's just a calorie in, calorie out.
Yeah. He said does it every time. And yes, I'm counting calories in my water and stuff. Happy Mandalorian Day. It's finally here. I was talking to Alex Damon via text yesterday. Because
look at me. I'm Kevin, and I can just text Alex Damon whenever I want.
Well, we were supposed to meet about GCX stuff. Hi, out there, Star Wars fans. There's another reason for you to buy your tickets. We were supposed to meet about GCX stuff, but he got his times mixed up, so we're going to meet on Friday. So I was texting him to talk to him about it, and then I was like, you good? Everything good? And we were talking about Mandalorian for a little while. I was like, it's like become the holiday, the annual holiday for us as Star Wars fans. He's like, I know, it's like always such like a big, and then the night before it feels like Christmas, and you're like, I can't wait. And I was like, you stay up. You and Molly get up at you're like up at midnight. I was like, Tim and I, our asses get up, go to do the workout, and then we freaking watch it. And then we go record at 8. And he's like, I don't envy your position. I was like, no, but that's just when we can do it. So I couldn't, if I tried to stay up till midnight, I wouldn't stay awake. Like I would die. Yeah, it just wouldn't work. So.
I can't do Last of Us at 9 a.m. or 9 p.m. So
I can't, because that can't be the last thing I watch before I go to bed.
Oh, it's so depressing too.
I can't. So I usually watch it like Friday.
Yeah.
All right. The Apostate, episode 1 of season 3. The opening. So if you've heard my rants,
would you like the definition for what an apostate is, Kevin?
Please. I know, but enlighten them.
Do you know what an apostate is? For those that don't know, an apostate is a person who renounces a religious or political belief or principle.
Yeah, he took his helmet off.
It's not a prostate, it's apostate.
Tim's chat will turn it into a prostate. That Mando has to go get a prostate exam. That's a whole other story. So the opening was little Kevin's, not little, but like teenage 20-something Kevin's wet dream of seeing live action Mandalorians standing all together, just hanging out. Didn't matter that it was a ceremony.
Yeah, I really liked the baptism. That was really nice.
It was awesome. And then that Florida gator just comes up out of the water.
Yeah, I really liked the turtle gator.
I don't know why everyone was so scared. Tim and I have those in our backyard.
That's what I thought. I was just like, this is a normal Friday afternoon. Yeah, like, I have so many questions about this opening scene.
First off, hold the mouth shut. That's all you got to do.
First off, why?
No power.
Why did we start off the first episode with a baptism and a Florida barbecue? Like, I don't understand.
So they're showing you that they are rebuilding the ranks with foundlings. That they are building them back up. Because the last time we saw what's his name? Paz Vizsla and the Armorer.
It was in the Armorers, it was just two. It was just them. They were hanging out in the underbelly of a space station.
On the Halo ring.
Okay, so that was the other thing that was weird. Why did she go through the whole talk about him like asking if he took off his helmet again?
I don't know. I guess because he came back and was like, "Hey, I got the Darksaber again." You're like, "We cool?"
Yeah, but she asked him that. But she asked him that in Boba Fett.
I guess he was just trying his luck again. So here's the disconnect in the episode for me is IG-11. If you get a new memory core for IG-11, how is he going to be valuable?
Oh, we're really jumping all over the place. Holy crap! Okay.
For that was my big disconnect. Your big disconnect is where I was going with that.
I see. Okay.
Why did he go back to her?
Yeah, there was no point. He already got his quest from her. He knew that he had to go to the waters under the mines of Mandalore to cleanse himself. So he had to go to the living waters. We got that quest in Book of Boba Fett. What was the whole point of him going back to this desert backwater ass planet to kill the gator, to then ask for forgiveness again, and her to ask if he took his helmet off, which she already asked. She already knows. So just like, it felt like there's a lot of just regurgitation of things that we had already known. And they even showed that off in the intro trailer. So it was just kind of like,
watched Book of Boba Fett.
Even if they didn't, if you watch the opening credits, the intro to the episode, it's that scene from Book of Boba Fett. So it just feels like a lot of wasted time. This was the reason why I'm bringing this up, and I'm kind of like grumpy about it, is that this was a really short episode. This was 38 minutes from start to finish. That's including the credits. So we got like a 35-minute episode, right? And we jumped all over the place. And the first 10 minutes of the episode was a visual orgasm. It was great visually. That was beautiful. Watching all the Mandalorians like fight this big snapping turtle gator thing and like it doing like the death rolls and stuff was really cool. Mando coming in on his Naboo fighter and blowing it with a proton torpedo. That was awesome. That was really cool. But it felt I got to the end of that scene. I was like, what was the point? It felt like it was just another one of those just like fun Favreau moments, not really like pushing the story. If this episode was longer, if we would have got like a 50-minute episode, I think I would have been okay with it. But because these episodes are so short, we didn't really go anywhere. We got to IG-11, which I thought was really cool. All the stuff in Navarro, awesome. Navarro is really, really cool. Katie Sackhoff at the end, what was the point?
I think he was going to see if he could rally her and her troops to like, because he said, I want in on what we said.
Yeah, just my whole point of asking what was the point is the dialogue and the interaction between him and her was so short they could have done that through Hollow.
Maybe he thought showing up in person was the play, not doing it over Hollow.
It felt so off. It felt really out of place. Him going and then him leaving. Like she was like, "See you later, Din Djarin," and I was just like, "Ugh." That also, just it felt like that could have done over a phone call.
Also, he showed up and they're all gone. So
well,
I'm sure he was expecting.
And I really liked that. I loved hearing how it all fell apart. How she was riding on the fact that she was going to get the dark saber, and then she was going to rally all of these Mandalorians together to go back to home. But the problem is, as soon as they didn't see the dark saber, they all said bye, and they all went up, became mercenaries.
The way she said, just wave it around and they'll do whatever you say.
Yeah, I love that. It was so good. It was fantastic. It felt like a little jab that's like, oh yeah, look at the guy with the lightsaber.
And she told him where the mine is. She's definitely going to end up going to Mandalore.
Oh, we know that she's going. We know that she ends up there. We don't know the circumstances as to why, though. I think what's going to happen is that she's going to be curious. After getting this artifact, I think it sparked her curiosity, and she's like, oh shit. There might actually be something there for me to go and claim.
The other thing, too, is because of that interaction, she did say, like, it's poison, the planet's destroyed, da-da-da-da. And he's like, make up your damn mind. Is it what? Which
yeah,
way
I liked
he
was like, is there a curse or is there not? Which one is it?
Like, so at this point, he's like, I'm just going to go figure it out myself.
Yeah, this episode, and I want to keep talking about it. Like, overall, this is a great setup episode. This is a great, like, it just, the only part that I found frustrating is like now we have this side quest to go get this memory core for IG-11, which means that we won't end up on Mandalore for like another 2 episodes, I think. Also, it's not going to be the next episode, but it's probably episode 3. I love that I love Babu Freaks.
Anzellans.
The Anzellans were absolutely hilarious. I loved that Apollo Creed was translating for him the entire time. Even with like it was a bunch of dialogue that you could understand, and he's still in the background like, he said he could get you that memory core. He said it's fucked.
I died when Grogu hugged one of them, and he's like, not a toy, not a toy.
I was waiting for him to eat him. That's what I thought was gonna happen. He's still young. He's like, bad baby, bad baby,
bad baby,
bad baby.
I actually like laughed out loud at that scene.
It made me think of our kids. I thought it was so good. Yeah.
This is literally dealing with
baby.
No, stop hugging him. So yeah, this could be. We know Hondo's alive because they introduced Hondo at Galaxy's Edge, and Galaxy's Edge is in the timeline after this. Now we know Galaxy's Edge also doesn't exist in a timeline anymore, but when they built it originally, Hondo is in, spoilers for love of God, Smuggler's Run. He is the host of Smuggler's Run. You can see his animatronic, which looks awesome. He's on the video, and he's live action there. So my assumption is that this whole pirate story that's developing with Captain Gorian Shard, that's his name.
Yeah. Did you know that that's Clancy Brown?
Again, we're bringing Clancy back?
That's Clancy Brown. He plays Gorian.
That's awesome because he was the Demeronian in season 1 too.
He was, yeah. So he's played by Clancy. That's so sick, dude.
Also, totally reminded me of Davy Jones.
Yes, just very much so. Yeah, he kind of had like this Muppet kind of look to him, like just like Oscar the Grouch kind of vibe, and I really liked that. It definitely felt like they were leaning more towards that, like that Henson, like original Star Wars kind of vibe with that puppeteering, and I really, really liked it.
Do you remember Fraggle Rock?
Yeah, very much so. Yeah.
Remember the big guys who dance and jump?
Uh-huh.
He's like one of those.
Yeah, I mean, like he had this like really shiny beard, and it almost looked like he had like 4-leaf clovers and stuff in there. It was cool. It was really neat. I enjoyed his character because it wasn't scary. It wasn't like grotesque. It was kind of just like this just fun. It was just a fun looking guy. He's just a fun character.
Also,
but he still looked like a pirate.
Also, Vane, Vane, is named after the legendary pirate Captain Charles Vane, who, if you watch the Blacktail show or you know pirate lore, he's a very
and
famous
Vane was
pirate.
was the guy that showed up that wanted to drink in the school.
Yes. Like,
this was a school. Or this was a bar. It's a school now.
My school.
Yeah, I love that.
Grief still got it too.
I really like that he kept on calling him. What was it? The High Chancellor.
High Magistrate.
High Magistrate. Yeah, just Magistrate. High Magistrate.
Also, that he's got 2 droids holding his robe up at all times.
I thought that was so cute. The little wheelie robot guys in the back that were just holding his cape.
That's it.
It was so good.
Holds it up off the ground.
Navarro's cool. I would totally live there.
Yeah, no, it's nice. It's nice.
It looks like a fun place to be.
They finally found the way to write. Now, they wrote Kara out of the show. We know that for obvious reasons with Gina Carano.
Yeah.
They found the way to write her out of the story.
I thought it was clever.
But I also don't think that was writing her out of the story. I think that was the intent for her to get her own show when that was originally slated, when she was supposed to be the Star Rangers of the New Republic.
That's what was supposed to happen.
And that's literally what he described. So I have a feeling people that are going to say, oh, they just put that as a side note to write out of the show. Like, no, that's probably how they were transitioning her. Now, there might have been a bit more planned in a grandiose transition for her.
Sure.
But obviously, they finally addressed the elephant in the room.
Yeah. And I thought they did a good job. It felt very natural. It didn't feel forced. You know, like Mando asked, where is she? And he gave an answer. He's like, she went off to go be a special force ranger. And like, that's pretty sick. Good for her. And then that was it. And he knew Marshall.
Which was her job before that anyways. Well, not a ranger.
Yeah, she was a shock trooper.
Yeah, because she fought on Endor. So they found a way to work her out of the story. Aside from that, the IG-11 thing bothered me because I was like, okay, obviously his old programming kicked in when they tried to reassemble him because he tried to kill Grogu.
Yep.
My issue is with this is like, if he has the whole reason you want him is because you know he's capable because of his memory core. Again, this is my assumption. If you were to get him a new memory core, is he still as capable as he was before? And if it's just that you need an IG droid, why don't you take Grief up on his offer and just get yourself another IG droid?
Yeah, I don't know, because the whole idea of the memory core was to have the memories of all of the things that they went through in the first season so that he wouldn't kill Grogu, right?
A droid I can trust. Remember, he hates droids.
Right, he doesn't, and that's the only droid that he can trust because they fought together. So it's like, for him, like, that's blood. Yeah, so for him to get a new memory core makes no sense because then he's no longer IG-11. Like, okay, his barcode says he's IG-11, but all of the things that make him up for who Mando wants is no longer there. At least I would assume. I'm no droid specialist.
Here's the only justification I could see is the memory core is like a hard drive, and they can transfer the data from the broken hard drive to the functioning hard drive. The Anzellans are crafty. They got little fingers, and they can get down.
That could happen. Yeah. I can see that happening. I like that.
I just want to see more of them because
it feels forced, though. Like, why do we need this character? I thought having him as a memorial was really cool. I thought that was cute. I really liked that.
IG doesn't feel forced because it's the only droid that Mando trusts.
Yeah, but like but we watched him blow up. Like he self-destructed, but only half of him blew up. I don't know, Kevin. It just feels weird.
That part I will say is forced. Yes.
It feels like just like they're forcing like the character that they had in the, like, and he was very popular in the first one. And it's a great way to get Taika Waititi back in the show. Like, that's sick. That's really cool. But at the same time, why couldn't we introduce a new droid? Why does it have to be IG-11? You know, I thought IG-11 had a great story, and I thought the way that he ended was a great hero moment. to bring back an old character just for the sake of bringing back an old character, I don't know. I'm not sure how I feel about it.
Yeah.
But we'll have to see. Like again, like him like shooting at the thing because his old programming kicked in. Like that was just like that was just I don't know. It was awkward. I'm not sure how to feel about it.
Did you see Stein went to the premiere?
Who?
Stein from Xbox?
From Xbox? That's cool.
Yeah, he was on the red carpet. Microsoft did a whole thing because Disney Plus and Xbox, Microsoft Store have a deal.
Oh, that's cool. Where's our invite?
It's probably because
it got lost in the mail, didn't it? Did it enter your spam? Did you check your spam folder?
I always check my spam folder. It's just people offering me penis-enhancing drugs and pornography.
I'm sure the invite for the red carpet to Mandalorian Season 3 is in between those emails.
Also, SEO help, and this one says it's from a prince in Africa that wants to give me $3 million in a trust fund.
All right, so if we can work on getting us to the next premiere for a Star Wars show, that would be great.
We need the community to tell everyone that they want us to go.
That's what I'm saying. I'm trying to be very, very passive aggressive with this. Like,
do you want a passive aggressive host and a really sarcastic one with a dry sense of humor that jokes don't always land at the red carpet premiere of Mandalorian Season 4? Is that what you want? I almost called you chat because that's what you'll always be to me.
Listeners, see, it sounds weird.
They'll always.
Hey there, listeners. Yeah, they're just chat. Your chat.
Sorry. Yeah, like Tim and I would be honored to go. I mean, but Alex and Molly didn't get invited. They're like the benchmark for, Chase got invited to go to Willow.
Willow.
Alex and Molly got invited to Obi-Wan, right? Was it Obi-Wan or
Andor?
No, they got invited to Andor.
Yeah.
They got invited to Andor. Somebody else we know is at Andor too. Can't remember.
We didn't get invited to that one either.
No. I think we're a little too rough around the edges for the mouse. You know what I'm going to do?
He thinks we're alcoholics, doesn't he?
Well, I'm taking well, I mean, I put Scotch in my coffee every morning to maintain the.
I got Scotch.
When I was leaving Tim's house on Sunday, or no, when was it? When I said it was when I was leaving your house and said something about drinking Scotch on the way out before my workout. I was like, oh yeah, do it every morning.
Yeah.
so I get the blood pumping. Oh, because Tim got me these awesome glasses for Christmas, the etched Star Wars glasses. I'll actually bring them in next time so I can show you all. Yeah, it was the glasses. I was like, yeah, I'll drink one tomorrow morning. Yeah, I just think we're too. But anyway, what I was gonna say, I'm going to Disney next month, so I'll see Mickey. I can talk to him.
Okay.
Be like, bro.
Oh, it's the alcoholic back for more. Oh boy. Oh, I love your Star Wars podcast. Can't put any ad money behind it though. Oh, sorry.
I'm a heavy drinker too. You have to be in this line of work.
That last Bob really made me drink. Oh boy. Thought I was going to lose my entire fortune.
Oh my God, the TikTok.
Oh, toodles.
With the guy that had the conversation between Chapek and I sent that to you a while ago and Mickey Mouse.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
And he's like, we have to at least create the illusion of magic, you dumbass.
Yeah.
He's like, you are ruining 100 years of deception, lies. I've worked very hard to trick these people, and you're ruining everything. It was in the desert, like Breaking Bad. It was so good.
Oh, it's funny. We love you, Disney. We do.
If we wonder why we never get back, it's probably stuff like that.
It's just bits like this.
That's it.
Shit.
So overall, again, we're starting Mandalorian off. We have our issues. Most of the time in this show, those issues get resolved by the end of the season, and then when you watch it all the
very
way
much
through,
so. Like,
you're always like, oh, all right, it was worth it. We went through this with season 1 where we're like, I have no idea where this is going. This makes no sense. And then by the end, we understood it. And then in season 2, we were more patient because we understand the way that they tell stories. So season 3, I'm not saying at all this is bad by any stretch of the imagination.
No, it's an interesting start.
It was just an introduction to the world with some Easter eggs and some fun stuff. So
it was good. It was a good episode.
Did you think the castle might have been the Ren castle at the end?
Oh.
I was like, I wonder if this is where Clan Ren ended up. And I was like, waiting, but then I saw the owls.
What planet was that on too? It was on a planet that was a part of the Mandalorian system.
I don't know
remember
if
what it
he
was
said
called?
the planet, but he said this is in
He-
the Mandalorian system.
I could have sworn that he said that it
He might have.
was. Huh.
We know it was
I
in
mean,
the system.
the castle was cool looking. I love that throne.
It looked just like the castles, like the Ren stronghold.
Yeah, it looks like even like when we went in the Ren, like Sabine's mom's castle looked very much so like that, like very ornate, very big walls.
Yeah.
It's gonna become very Game of Thrones. I feel it.
So who's
Well, do you think the Children of the Watch, or do you think that they're gonna like? I would assume they're gonna have a bigger presence. I assume that they're gonna rally
I
at
think
some
the whole
point
point of
and
that
show
scene
up.
was to show you that they're recruiting.
I mean, they have a decent amount of people in their ranks now.
And those are the ones we know about. Forget the other Coburns scattered across the galaxy. So what's going to happen by the end of the season is you're going to have, because we know Sabine's coming. It's just a matter of when. We're going to have Clan Ren. Going to have the Night Owls. Going to have the freaking Children of the Watch.
Children of the Watch, yeah.
And then there's something at play where so in the trailer, and the internet's been abuzz with this since before the episode aired. He dusts off an old Mandalorian helmet.
Oh yeah, that's when they're in the mines.
People are swearing that it's Tar Vizsla's mask. Tar Vizsla was the original Mandalore.
Oh shit.
And Tar Vizsla was the original Mandalorian Jedi too. He's the one who
Yeah.
forged
He
the
was, and
Darksaber.
that would be so cool with Grogu. Oh shit.
So where my head is at is that the ancient right of Mandalore is whoever holds the Darksaber, right? You hold the Darksaber, you rule Mandalore. It's won through duels and combats and whatnot. The mask is going to somehow come into play because in the Old Republic Legends lore, you had the mask too.
Do you think Mando takes his helmet off and puts that one on?
Maybe he becomes Mandalore because Mandalore the Great was the title you were given when you ruled Mandalore. You wore the mask and you had the Darksaber.
Oh, that's so sick. Man, they're gonna RPG the shit out of this. You have to have the full armor set to become Mandalore.
You're already questing. We are back to the video game formula. Think about it. You need
we are 100%.
You need the droid sidekick, so you got to go somewhere else and get the memory core before you can go to Mandalore, because Mandalore is probably too over leveled if you don't have the droid with you.
Oh yeah, you totally get gear checked as soon as you touch the surface. 100%.
And you have your little force user healer friend, but he can only use so much power. It's like a Atreus in God of War. It's nice to have him around, but he's not going to get the job done. So it's the video game formula is actively at work. We went back to a settlement where we've been before, and they've grown and prospered because of the good things we've done. Very video game-esque.
I love it.
It's gonna be good.
That's why I'm not upset about this episode, because I know where we're gonna end up. It's just the pacing just felt weird.
Yeah. One last thing before we head out on Mandalorian. So originally I had read that like Jon Favreau was like, I don't want to go past 4 or 5 seasons. Now John is saying, I don't really have a finale in mind. And I would love for this to just go on and on. That worries me a little.
I don't. Oh man, I don't know, because it's the Mandalorian. It could be about any Mandalorian.
I am,
but I feel like that just gets watered down.
I am okay with ending the show and continuing the stories of the characters elsewhere. And he says, this is the middle chapter of a much larger story, and we'll have resolution over time with these characters.
That's good.
But the way Star Wars works nicely is that the characters can just be dropped into the next thing that's happening.
Yes.
Very easily.
Very much so.
So I would maintain that they should probably end Mandalorian in another 2 seasons and then move the necessary characters to whatever else is happening. Like, we're going to see Din and Ahsoka.
Yeah, I don't see why we wouldn't.
We're going to, and Grogu, we're going to, if there's a Book of Boba Fett chapter 2, there's not a chance in hell that Boba Fett doesn't go back to Mandalore after the Assault Resolutions. Like, where's
Well, there.
Mike?
I mean, like there are rumors that Boba Fett shows up in this
Wouldn't shock me
to
because
fight because it goes back to season 2 when they talk about Django being a foundling.
he
And
has
so
another
I
claim.
think right, exactly. And so I think in what you and I were talking about last week, or I don't remember when we were talking about this, we were talking about Clan Fett.
Clan Fett is a Legends faction.
And so, like, what if Clan Fett, he lays claim to being leader of not Tatooine, but also
No, this
Clan
is,
Fett as
when
well.
You say
Like, it
Game
could
of
get
Thrones,
really dope.
like
Yeah,
this
it could really be Game of Thrones. Like, you could really Game of Thrones a show, and it would be wild.
And you think how Game of Thrones failed was when, obviously the lazy writing and stuff, but when we started losing interest when the factions started working together.
Yeah, because it wasn't fun. It wasn't fun when when you've got Clan Stark just like running at the river or the tower guardsmen people, and like they had that big bloody fight, and so like you had all these inner house issues. And they're trying to do all these things. One's trying to go for power, one's trying to remain with peaceful, and so it's just like it's cool. It's really neat. People enjoy the struggles.
And I think given the way the Mandalorian people work, it makes sense for them to be the ones in Star Wars that would emulate that, because
Sure.
they showed you something else in the beginning of that episode, is that Mandalorians, their code of honor is very high. They were risking their lives to save each other.
Yeah.
They were protecting the children.
Mm-hmm.
So their code of honor is very high, but they are a warlike people, and power is everything to them.
Yeah.
And I don't say that in a bad way. I'm not saying it in a political, like real life context. I'm talking about conquest and power. They're not perfect by any stretch of the imaginations from a moral standpoint, but supremacy, power, order, honor, these are all things that matter to them. So it'll be interesting to see now that and when they splintered off after the destruction of Mandalore, that new ideals, new customs, new things come into place for these different factions, and it further spreads them apart. So when they come back together, those ideas are not all going to be met kindly across the board. So it's going to be very interesting to see how this whole weighs out. And we're not even taking into account, Gar Saxon's Imperial Mandalorians. Where are they?
Oh yeah, I totally forgot about that.
Are they still loyal?
Okay, so I would think that those Imperial guards, they were removed when Bo-Katan was in rule. I would assume she cleared them out.
But they're still because
do you think like the actual
Gar
like,
is dead? They swore allegiance to Darth Maul, but remember the other girl that was with them? I forget her name.
Oh shit! The girlfriend.
Yep.
But she was still alive.
She was very much still alive.
Oh, whoa! I forgot about that.
So that's my whole thing, is they planted the seeds for all of these potential people that would want control of Mandalore all across Star Wars.
What if she's the armorist, though? Didn't we already talk about this? What if she was the
theory
that she was leading the clan of the?
But they're not the Watch. The Watch is from Death. No, they were not Death Watch. These were the Imperials who swore allegiance to the Empire.
Oh no! You're right. No, but I'm thinking that she started the new Death Watch.
I think that's what Death Watch is, just an offshoot. The Watch is just an offshoot of the Death Watch we knew.
Yeah, but the Imperial guys, I think they were within the same mentality as the Death Watch. What if they just got cannibalized by that group?
Could be, but we know she's still alive.
Because they didn't have a leader. Yeah, she's still alive, and she runs off. Holy shit, Kevin! There's so many loose ends with this.
I'm trying to find her name. No, that's Gar. Now I gotta go back and watch all the Mandalorian episodes that are in Rebels, and because that was Rebels, right? That we met her.
That was Clone Wars season 6.
Oh, good lord!
Yeah,
there's so many out there.
Yeah, it was season 6 when Gar gets kicked off the platform or whatever, and then she's like, she gets killed in the fight, or he gets killed in the fight, right?
Yeah. So I don't know. There's a lot here. There's a lot. So we'll see you next week.
I'm trying to figure out what happens here. Oh, we have to go back and watch that part. That's really interesting. So I think for next week we'll end up on like a little side quest. We're not going to go to Mandalore. We won't go to Mandalore until episode 3. And
no,
so
he's got to get the memory chip first. Also, and the pirates also create a whole other problem here.
Mm-hmm.
That's all
because that guy's not dead. The guy who wanted to drink in the school, he's not dead. He's still alive.
Vane is still alive.
Vane's still alive. The captain's now pissed off because he knows about the Mandalorian, and he doesn't like being showed up like that. So yeah, we've got 2, I guess 3 story arcs to kind of follow along with right now.
Yeah, so I don't think we see Ahsoka. I agree with you. I could absolutely see Boba Fett showing up this season.
Yeah.
I think Hondo is going to be introduced to live action this season.
If we don't get Hondo in this, we'll get him in Ahsoka. But I think Hondo live action makes sense, especially with the introduction of pirates.
I think we say hello to him here, and then he plays a much bigger role with Ahsoka. Because we'll be like, Ahsoka, it's so good to see you again. And she'll slap her.
Wow, you got this so big.
I probably deserve that, but let's move on. So Hondo gets introduced. So yeah, I think we're on the right track. We have the pirate storyline. We're going to restore IG-11, which again, even though Tim and I have plot holes in that, like it's going to be great to hear his voice.
He's going to be
again.
a dope sidekick regardless.
Yeah,
it's going to be cool.
So we got to get the party together so we can venture into the higher level area, which is Mandalore. But we got to do the side quests to get the gear and the partnerships in place.
I love that we just have to explain this like a video game. We've played so many video games. It's just like it's so much easier just be like, no, this is exactly what's going to happen. Yeah, but it follows the right recipe every time. It's so wild.
It just works.
It
just works. Thank you so much for checking out this episode of Star Wars and Scotch. We'll be back next week with season 2, episode 12 of The Bad Batch and season 3, episode 2 of The Mandalorian. It's so exciting to say that because I was thinking this morning, man, if you told like younger Kevin that he'd have his ass up at 5 a.m. to watch an animated Star Wars show and a live action, first of all, a live action Star Wars show would shock him because he's got to go run and record a podcast with his buddy about Star Wars. He'd be like, really? This is exciting. So it was just awesome to say that 2 shows are premiering next week. But make sure you go hang out with Tim. Are you doing Lightfall?
I might.
You're gonna do it. Just do it. Get it over with.
I have to talk to the Big Show about it on Saturday. So.
Did you? And he said I was big dick.
Bro, today. Chuck came up to me. He's like, "So you're friends with the Big Show now, huh?" And I'm like, "Oh, you saw that?" Because he just walked over to me and started talking about video games.
Did you tell Chuck you were friends with the Big Show before the gym?
No. Oh yeah, I told him that he came to GCX and stuff like that. Yeah, I told him that because he was like, "How do you know him?" And I was like, "Oh, he came to GCX. He did this thing. He gave out some awards, and I brought that up to him, and he like lit up, and like now we're friends."
So you're waiting to play Lightfall with Big Show?
No. I'm gonna play the single player solo.
But if he wants to play, you could take him through with.
Could you imagine raiding with him though? Like that would be pretty sick.
I would love to hear the Big Show rage during a raid.
I know what his controller.
I know what his yelling voice sounds like from wrestling, so I just want to hear it.
He's so soft spoken. He's so nice.
He's so nice, but like when I shook his hand, my little baby hand and his big.
I know. I went to fist bump him, and like his fist just encompassed my entire hand.
He's such a nice guy, though. Anyway, make sure you go check out timfb.gg/darkness429 Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. Eastern. And then you can check him out, Darkness429, everywhere else on the internet. I get his TikToks all the time, and you should go like those and follow him. Everything I do is at raredrop.co. You can go listen to old episodes of Star Wars and Scotch there. Rate, review, subscribe. It helps us out. And if you want to chat with me, it's KMagic101 on Instagram and Kevin X Division on Twitter. We'll be back next week. Like I said, more Mandalorian, more Bad Batch. We hope you have a fantastic week. And as always,
may the Force be with you.